Welcome to the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through the arts. Sister, spiritual inspiration shared through Ayana. Welcome, my brothers and sisters. You are listening on demand to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. A new segment added to the Sister Speak Show. Actually, a reviving of an old segment called The Search Effort, the Suspense Files. Oh, yes, you will be glad that you tuned in to this segment because we keep it 100. We focus on issues that are concerning us dealing with relationships. Oh, the vibe is very mature, for mature audiences only. But for all of my first-time listeners, I want to say welcome. And to all of my regular listeners, all of my international listeners, hello, how are you doing? And thank you so much for your listening support. You be encouraged. Now listen. To my first-time listeners, my name is Ayana. I am the host, creator, and producer of the Sister Speak Show. It is my pleasure conversing with you all this evening. So let me just tell you why you are listening to one of the dopest podcasts in syndication on Amazon Alexa. Why you are listening to a flavorful podcast that you need to add to your listening shuffle. Because we are about encouragement. We are about dope conversations. We are about a great sense of humor. And we are about making sure that you can be the best that you can be. We are here for your talents, your purposes, your passions. We care about you. We are here to serve the brothers and sisters that are within the village. The Sister Speak Show consists of 6 segments, and within those segments, you can catch special guest interviews, live performances, in-studio interviews, and live on-location reports. The special guests who will be on the Sister Speak Show are dynamic, and they are impacting the communities with their passions. The Sister Speak Show is a talk show that will keep your mind and your soul informed, energized, and encouraged. We are a cultural renaissance platform that influences a climate that is conducive to who you are and who you should be. No reckless entertainment, just responsible listening nourishment. We don't go dumb, we go wisdom on the Sister Speak Show. With that being said, my brothers and sisters, I want you to sit tight. Don't make me have to come looking for you. We're going to go ahead and get these commercials in the way, and then we're going to get started with tonight's first episode of the Suspense Files. Don't make me come looking for you, okay?
New to the Sister Speak Show. The Suspense Files, crimes of passion, mystery, obsession, deadly relationships. For mature audiences only. Wednesdays live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Episodes also available on demand on the Sister Speak Show, a syndicated podcast on Amazon Alexa, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. Listening to the Sister Speak Show is even easier now with the new abilities available from Spreaker's Skill on Amazon Alexa. With Spreaker on Alexa, you can now listen to the Sister Speak Show from even more places from all around the world. You also have navigation control, fast forward and rewind podcasts to make sure you never miss a second of your favorite show. And then you can ask for show recommendations like the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. On the first episode of the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show, what's yours is all mine. The Tyshee Prokop story. We'll discuss the danger signs of a narcissist and sleeping with the enemy. The Suspense Files, crimes of passion, mystery, obsession, deadly relationships. For mature audiences only on the Sister Speak Show, a syndicated podcast on Amazon Alexa, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action.
Welcome back. You are listening on demand to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. I am your host, Ayana, and it is my pleasure to speak with you all this evening. Crimes of passion, mystery, obsession, deadly relationships. Many of us are intrigued by these stories. Some of us actually have been the victim of these type of incidents. A lot of us are curious because we like to know what makes a relationship tick, and we also like to know what makes a relationship explode. On tonight's episode, we're going to dive right into what's yours is all of mine. The Tyshee Prokop story. Tyshee. She wanted it all. She wanted her cake, and she wanted to eat it too. See, when you go looking for love, sometimes you can look for love in the right places, but find the wrong person in the right place. That's why we'll be dealing with the danger signs of a narcissist. That's why we'll be speaking about sleeping with the enemy. Have you ever slept with the enemy? Have you ever been in a relationship with a narcissist? Do you think like Tyshee? Is all of it yours? Will you stop at any means? Or do you have no filter when it comes to going after what you feel you are entitled to? The Suspense Files. Mature audiences only. Oh, see, we're going to get deep into it. And I need you to handle it because you might find yourself in some of these character traits. But the good news is, you don't have to stay that way forever. You can change. So let's get into it, shall we? What's yours is mine. All mine. And the most interesting aspect of that is a lot of times we can get into situations and sometimes we don't know until we know. And that's why we're going to look at this story and try to develop wisdom and an understanding of why it is very, very prudent of us, wise of us, to get to know somebody. And before we get to know somebody, to get to know who we are. See, we end up in relationships sometimes, and sometimes, we barely make it out. We barely leave with our sanity. Sometimes we make it out with the clothes on our back, and sometimes we make it out with a toe tag and a body bag. Are you the aggressor? Are you passive aggressive? Are you just passive? Do you get sick and tired of being the victim of your own choices? It gets deep on the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak show. This evening's story for educational purposes only. A clip will be provided for you on Tyshee Prokop.
Woman's life changes forever. She was in the bathroom.
She didn't see or hear anybody. She just heard a gunshot.
A tragic mystery to a life that started with such promise. It's just abhorrent. Fort Hood, Texas, one of the biggest military bases in the U.S. It's a port town, Killeen, teams with young soldiers from all over the country, including 20-year-old Gary Prokop.
Gary was born in Germany and grew up in San Diego, California. He joined the military after he finished high school, and he had never been to Killeen, Texas until he was stationed there at Fort Hood.
Here in 1996, opposites attract. Carefree local party girl, 17-year-old Tyshee Grant, catches the soldier's eye.
She didn't really have a whole lot of ambition, but Tyshee was a lot of fun to be around.
Gary came from a good family, graduated high school, and he didn't do drugs. The exact opposite of Tyshee and her friends.
What's your name?
Tyshee.
But Gary can't resist Tyshee's charms.
Gary was new in the area. He didn't know anyone. He was probably a bit lonely being away from his family.
Romance blossoms, and in a whirlwind, there are wedding bells.
It's not unusual in Killeen to go ahead and make it official and be married, and then they can get the benefits from the military.
You know what I like waking up to?
I'm surprised that.
Military accommodation, medical insurance, a comfortable life. By marrying Gary, Tyshee's fortunes instantly change.
She must have seen Gary as someone who could give her something that she didn't have.
And nothing cements a new marriage like a baby.
What's me?
You're gonna be daddy.
At first, the relationship seemed to be going well. Gary might have thought there were no problems initially, but it was a little different for Tyshee.
Tyshee hasn't really thought this through. Life as a stay-at-home military mom
Tyshee?
is not Tyshee's idea of a good time.
How can you live like this?
You don't like it?
She's just the kind of person that didn't care to be a responsible mom. Old food, laying around, dirty carpet, clothes everywhere. Just the kind of house that most people would not want to live in.
You don't know that.
She needs a diaper change. To Tyshee, Gary looked good. He offered a life she wanted. But not really.
She wanted to do what she wanted to do. She liked to party.
She didn't really want to leave her friends and her druggy lifestyle behind.
Tyshee leaves Gary holding the baby, while she plays around with an old high school sweetheart, 18-year-old Jacob Harris.
That was what she really wanted.
She was more committed to hanging out with her gang friends and her drug friends. Jacob Harris was one of them, her boyfriend. And that's what led to the animosity between her and Gary.
Just a year into the marriage, Gary has had enough.
Want to be a college boy? Tyshee and her husband decided to divorce.
Gary plans to move back home to California.
Maybe it's best if you don't come then.
Damn right. I think to Tyshee, Gary represented a meal ticket. There's really no indication she ever even loved him.
Gary's not only leaving Tyshee, he's leaving the army and losing all the benefits of being a soldier.
You divorce him, you won't get nothing.
When he left the Army, his health benefits would end. In addition to that, he would no longer have the $200,000 life insurance policy. And Tyshee decided, well, it's time to get something from him before he goes.
I'd be better off not a widow. Oh, no. When Tyshee figured this all out, I think she set a date for his murder.
Texas, 1998. 18 months after their wedding, 22-year-old husband Gary and his 19-year-old wife Tyshee Prokop plan their divorce.
So she can stay with me at Easter?
Yep. If I have her for Christmas.
Yeah, sounds fair.
And the future of their baby daughter.
They had sat down and written a custody agreement, and it appeared that Gary had every intention of being a good father. He wanted custody on certain holidays, and this agreement laid out exactly when he would get her and when Tyshee would get her, what financial arrangements they would have, and what Gary would pay for.
There's only one arrangement Tyshee doesn't like.
Gary was planning on leaving the service. That would have meant an end to his regular Army paycheck, as well as that $200,000 life insurance policy.
She isn't interested in being a divorcee. Tyshee wants to be a widow.
She wanted that money. She saw that as an opportunity for her to do other things.
All right, so coming through here, this is the lounge room.
With her lover, 20-year-old Jacob Harris, and two willing friends, Tyshee plans Gary's demise.
What shocks me is how easy it was for her boyfriend Jacob to find people to help him do it. It's just abhorrent.
20-year-old Charles Chucky Turnbull will be the gunman. 19-year-old Field, the getaway driver.
And I'll be out of town.
Jacob gives himself the perfect alibi.
He left and went to Missouri. How can I be involved in a crime? I'm in Missouri. I'm out of state.
In the early hours of June 25th, 1998, Tyshee seals Gary's fate.
Around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, Tyshee got up, went to the front door and unlocked it. Chucky came into the house.
Tyshee retreats to the bathroom, leaving her sleeping husband an easy target.
Chucky fired an assault rifle one time right into Gary's head and ended his life just like that.
The murder of Gary Prokop was mercifully quick and painless. He was shot in the head while he was sleeping and never knew what happened.
To complete the plan, Tyshee needs to play a shocked bystander.
The story that she relayed was that she was in the bathroom. She didn't see or hear anybody. She just heard a gunshot. She was scared. She fled the house.
Help! Help!
She just ran straight to her neighbors and called 911.
Send the police! Someone shot my husband!
But Tyshee is a bad actor.
Someone shot my husband! Send help!
She was a suspect right away.
Someone shot my husband! Send help!
It sounded in the 911 call as though she was trying to force herself to cry or to sound like she was crying, but officers on the scene said that she wasn't crying at all, that they never saw tears.
There's another red flag for investigators.
She forgot to bring her baby with her. What kind of mother would leave their baby in danger? Tyshee did, because she knew her baby was not in danger.
But despite their suspicions, the police lack direct evidence, and for 3 years, Tyshee gets away with murder.
Everybody thought that her story probably was not legitimate, but they had nothing to go on.
Then Sergeant Patrick Turk gets a break in the case, thanks to a police informant.
One of my sources came to me at one point and said that he had information about this Prokop murder that had occurred in 1998, and he wanted to talk to me about it.
The informant leads police to the getaway driver, Rodney Barfield.
It was Tyshee's idea. Chucky was the shooter.
Filled with remorse, he cracks.
I was the driver.
Over the course of about 5 hours, he confessed his full involvement in the crime. He cried as he confessed.
You got the gun? Yeah.
He detailed all the roles of all the individual players in the crime.
The more co-conspirators you have in any plan, eventually someone's going to crack.
Their house of cards collapses. Facing the death penalty, Tyshee accepts a plea.
The evidence was pretty compelling, but she never admitted her involvement in the crime, other than to accept a guilty plea.
All the co-defendants are convicted. Charles Turnbull of capital murder. Jacob Harris and Rodney Barfield of conspiracy to commit capital murder.
He obviously had remorse about the crime, and yet he got sucked up into helping out with it, and he's going to be spending most of his life in prison.
In 2003, Tyshee Prokop pleads guilty to capital murder and is sentenced to life in prison. She is eligible for parole in 2032.
Tyshee is exactly where she belongs, and I hope she stays there for the rest of her life.
A young man's bright future is cut short.
Just the senseless death of a soldier, unrelated to combat. He was a good dad. He was a good soldier. He was loved by his family.
What's your name?
Because he married the wrong woman.
Tyshee had little education and no career at the time she killed her husband. But a lot of women fall into that category, and they don't get featured on Deadly Women.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak show, my brothers and sisters. I want to get into this just a little bit because, a lot of times a documentary can speak for itself. But one thing that I want to do before we transition into, the signs of a narcissist is the fact that, and I want to address this to, a lot of our sisters, because Tyshee, being a sister, she decided that she thought that dating a white guy, a so-called white guy, would be her ticket into prosperity, her ticket into the great life, her ticket into being able to take advantage of someone. And a lot of sisters believe that if they go and they date somebody outside of their race, that they'll be treated better. Or sometimes they feel like if they date somebody outside of their race, that they can come up and get over on that person. They really have no intentions of dealing with this person on a human level. They're looking only to gain, and they have a mischievous imagination, and their only purpose is to satisfy themselves. And a lot of times, and now I'm making it a broader scope as far, well, no, let me finish this point and hone this out. I want to say, because I was dealing with a friend. I had a friend that only liked to deal with white guys, and she did not like dealing with black guys. She felt that black guys did not treat her correctly, and she just had her own father issues and other issues with inside of her home that shaped her thinking like that. And so, but she was very attracted to white guys who liked to deal, who were into cultural appropriation. And one of the issues that stemmed from her desire and her her deciding not to deal with the things that were affecting her, but instead she felt like she could go to a white guy who took on the characteristics of a black man, and that would make her relationship better. And I am here to tell you that she got dogged out when she was in that relationship. That white boy dragged her from here to Kathmandu and back. I mean, he took her through it. Now, Of course, in any relationship, anybody can take you through anything, and it does not have to necessarily be about color. But in this instance, it is dealing with a sister who felt like dealing with somebody outside of her tribe and dealing with somebody in one of the nations would actually enhance her life and would make it better. And a lot of times some people think that. Some women think that they can date somebody and that, oh, they're a sucker. Let me go ahead and get them. And you know what? At the beginning of the day, you're the one who looks so horrible. You know, to set your eyes on someone who is kind and to take that for weakness and to say that I'm going to come up on this person. You know, I think about the lifestyle of a pimp. And, you know, so, you know, you can have a female pimp. They call them madams. Well, let's just look at the whole context of being lazy and using somebody else to help you get ahead in life. When you have the activity of your limbs, most of us. When you have the activity of your brain, most of us. When you have been created to go out and to serve a purpose, but instead you want to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. You want to be a narcissist. You want to put on this charm, this machismo, and you want to literally lure somebody in to being in a relationship with you and even marrying you. Okay? So the fact that you have to go into those files in your mind and be so wicked as to lay out that rod with that particular stank bait. And, you know, a lot of times women use their vagina. You know, people say pussy makes the world go round. And excuse my language, but I'm just keeping it very frank. They say that, you know, well, and pussy is powered. This is an explicit show, I told you. You know, and they say that. And it's like, you know, it's so sad to see so many brothers fall victim to that. You know, so many people fall victim to feeling the need to ejaculate unnecessarily. Now, what do you mean ejaculate unnecessarily? Well, I know that men are called to ejaculate. They're called to procreate. You know, I understand that. You know, I understand it's not good for man to be alone. I understand that it's good for man to have a helpmeet. I understand the value of two coming together and being one. And I also know that our flesh is weak and our lust and our desires can get the best of us. And there we are searching and fiending for it. Fiending for it. Some of you brothers, some of you men are so weak for the vagina. It is pathetic. And some of you are so juvenile with your likings of the vagina that it leaves you to where you get mauled by the vagina. You get ambushed by it. The vagina is like an AK-47 and you are the target practice. And some of you, you know, the only reason why you're living and functioning is for it. You know, you go to work for it. You shine your rims for it. You pull out your water cash when you're at the cash register paying for something so the female behind you can see that you got some Uchini, some Fetty, some cash. You do it so people can know that, you know, that you're a trick, that you're a sugar daddy. Some of you really ain't sugar daddies. Some of you are really like Splendor daddies. You really ain't got all that money. Okay? You really don't. Some of you are like sweet and low. You know, if you ain't sweet, the cash is low. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of mode of operation that you trigger through. And then even, you know, so desperate for that you have to take the penis pills and you have to take all these, you know, these aids for you to get it up because you got to have it. And then you run into somebody like a Tyshee Prokop. Well, her last name was changed to Prokop. But you run into Tyshee and them. Oh, Tyshee with the bomb punani. And I'm being real honest. You know, knowing what she's got, her mama told her she's sitting on $1 million and she is out there and she is looking for somebody who is a victim, somebody to get caught in the trap of needing to get it off. You got to have somebody right now. Oh, you're filled with it. You've got to release all of what is inside of your testicles because you're a man, beat on your chest, and you've got to have it. And instead of being a player, and I'm not talking about a player where you go out there and play on people's emotions. I'm talking about somebody who knows how to play the game, somebody who knows how to watch their own back, somebody who cares about their own body. You know, when are men going to value your penises? You know, it's like sometimes it's just like you're giving it away like it's on clearance. And you women too, giving it away. And so then you get into the situation where what's yours is all of mine. Oh yeah, I lured you. I smiled. I told you were the best I've ever had. I baited you. I lured you in. I got you in between those sheets. You smell that Tide. Oh, you smell the perfume. You see the candles. You see the lingerie. Oh, I've got you baited. And I cooked you a nice meal so you're so full that you're sleepy, but you're not too sleepy for some of this power of the P-U-S-S-Y. And I've got you now. Now you're telling me that you love me. Now you're telling me that you can't let anybody else have it. Now you're telling me that I can have anything that I want. Sucker. That's what Tyshee was thinking. And that's what a lot of you sisters think. That's what a lot of you women think. You think men are nothing but suckers. And due to the characteristics that they display for the vagina, lollipop gang in the house. So when it comes to setting your eyes upon somebody, sisters, and marrying for your only come up, you put yourself in a position like Tyshee. Oh, you didn't know? Oh, she's serving a jail sentence. She isn't getting out until 2032. You didn't know that? Count with me. It's 2018, and she gets out in 2032. Now, for some people who go to jail, prison, correctional facilities, they come out changed. For the better, not for the bitter, but for the better. But there are some who go into prison, correctional facilities, and jail, and even juvenile hall, and they become a monster. They become worse than they were before. I don't know how Tyshee is going to emerge from the belly of the beast. I don't know if Tyshee has thought about the fact that killing her husband to receive benefits, life insurance policies, having a baby by this man to seal the deal would end her, would have her ending up in prison, serving time until 2032. See, you sisters, you women, some of you, think that having a baby will keep a man. Some of you believe that that's all you need to do. Oh, if you just get pregnant by him, girl, you've got him. Oh, girl, you've got that check coming. All you've got to do is just get pregnant by him. Oh, girl, you know once he sees the baby, you know he ain't gonna leave you. Oh, girl, you know that once you become the baby mama, you're the top woman. It doesn't matter. Oh, girl, he's gonna love you anyway. You know, a lot of you sisters are hoping that a man will say, that's my baby mama. You know, I love her because she got my kids. Some of you settle for that statement. You pop out a child just so a man can say that about you. You need to step your game up and step your brain up. And you need to really, really charge up your brain cells, sister. Yeah, I'm getting at you because you're off. Now, maybe somebody didn't teach you, but now you know. And knowing is half the battle. Well, what's the other half? Showing that you know. Having a baby does not keep a man. It keeps him around, yeah, sometimes. But eventually, as he matures and as he begins to use both hemispheres of his brain, and as he begins to hopefully come into a spiritual awakening, a Damascus experience where he realizes that he has been a whole slut and that he has gotten played and that he needs to value his penis and that he has to examine a woman before he lays with her. Come on, y'all. You know, having a child does not seal the deal. Having a baby by a man you barely even know, didn't even conceive, didn't even make love. Y'all were just effing You know what I'm saying? Okay? You had that baby in bitterness. You had that baby in contempt. You had that baby in malicious intent. You had that baby because you wanted the money. That makes you a hoe. See, let's just go over this. I know this wasn't the topic that I had highlighted, but I have to point this out. Some of you women and some of you men have yourself fooled. You don't think you're a hoe, but you are. You are. Have you had sex outside of marriage? That makes you a hoe. Are you married now? And are you faithful? Have you repented? Now you're not a hoe, but you used to be one. And some of you still are. You're a hoe. And you don't like to hear that term because when you hear it, it sounds just as bad as it sounds. Hoe. I ain't no hoe. I mean, just the moment you hear it, hoe. It hits you deep in your reproductive area. Who? Such and such? Oh, she a hoe. Don't nobody want that. Look, I used to be a hoe. I'm not a hoe anymore, but I used to be one. So now that I have opened up the air for true confessions, are you a hoe? Are you a former hoe? Your wholeness can lead to can lead you getting a sentence to where you don't get out until 2032. Your wholeness can lead you to not being able to post bail. Your wholeness can lead you to deception, corruption, instability, health compromises, strong STDs, strong body odor. Your wholeness can have you marrying a man for money, having a baby by that man for money, and then one day saying, I'm not satisfied. I want more. And what you have is all of mine. And I'm going to take it by any means necessary. Have you been played before? Has somebody lured you and baited you into a relationship only to drag you? You barely got out alive, correct? Well, Tyshee's husband, ex-husband, won't have the opportunity to reflect, now will he? Some of you have mental health problems and you have feelings that need healing. On the Suspense Files, we call it out. Marrying for money, killing for money, sex for money, thinking your vagina is God Almighty, worshiping the vagina. Some of you men, you worship it. You worship it. You are a servant to it, and it's got you all jacked up. What would your life look like if you abstained from sex? How many bullets would you dodge? I condone abstinence. I condone celibacy because of documentaries like the one you just heard, and because of several stories that you have heard that are with people that you know and don't know. How many times has sex gotten you into trouble? How many times having to get some dick, as you say, sister, has gotten you into trouble? How many times, man, I had to smash that, gotten you into trouble? Huh? Itchy, itchy, yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh. Monostat. Doxycycline. Therapy. Funerals. Catching your spouse cheating. The Suspense Files. I'm serious about this. Are you married to somebody right now for love or because you are looking for a come up? Do you plan on leaving your spouse, but they don't know, but everybody else knows because you are just that stank of a human? Are you a narcissist? Narcissists don't know they're narcissists because they don't ever think that they do anything wrong. So it's really hard for a narcissist to recognize that they are one because they don't think that any of the signs that are displayed before them pertain to them. They have done a great job of having a lot of people fooled, including themselves. But we're going to transition into narcissism because it has a lot to do with the type of characteristic that Tyshee had. Luring somebody in. Your best foot forward. Oh, you're just so charming. Oh, you're saying all the things that I want to hear. You're so nice. Oh, girl, he bought me dinner again. Girl, we talked about the Lord all night long. Oh, girl, he opened the car door for me. Girl, he just really is just so different. I really am falling in love with him. Oh, he is just the man. Oh, she's just so perfect. She says everything you want to hear. Oh, she can cook clean. Oh, she can lift all of your burdens. She's just so perfect. She's beautiful. She's a dime. Oh, she's got such a big butt. Oh, her body is slamming. She's the one, bruh. She's the one. She's all into me. She went down on me for 2 hours. She's the one. And then one day, they snap. The person who you fell in love with snaps. They switch up on you. You get into an argument and they are extra aggressive. Now the protector is the villain and you are the prey. What happened to the person I met some years ago? What happened to the woman I fell in love with? What happened to the man who said he would never, ever do these things to me? What happened to the great listener? What happened to the one that comforts you in the midst of your pain? Now they're the source. You used to love them. Now you can't stand them. Now you have been forced to hate them. That's bad when you have to unlove somebody who you want to love because they are a narcissistic monster. Kind of like Tyshee, huh? Have you ever been in a relationship with a monster? A cold-hearted snake? A master manipulator? It's heavy. Let's get into this video by Joanna Kujov. Top 10 ways how a narcissist controls you. I'll see you on the other side of this.
I got a car. Narcissists crave control. And narcissist control methods can either be overt and very evident, visible for all to witness, but the most destructive control methods are the covert and hidden ones that make you question your sanity. So I'm going to help you clarify so you can recognize when and how you're being controlled, because knowledge and understanding of this is so liberating. Covert methods of control are usually more passive-aggressive, and they include the silent treatment, which is pretending not to hear you, walking away mid-conversation, or more specifically, walking away when you're talking about something that's important to you. And the silent treatment is a form of invalidation. It's where they intentionally withhold giving you feedback, approval, or a response because they know that you want their attention or just feedback, but they are going to go silent and in a really abrupt way. So it's quite unsettling. So by giving you the silent treatment, which can last for days or weeks, for some people it's even months and years. So by not responding, they're basically saying, I'm going to punish you. This isn't worthy of my attention. It's insignificant. I don't care enough to listen. So they want to control you by not validating your reality, by disengaging from the conversation. And the more startled or upset you become because you can't get validation or a response from them, the more you're showing to them how powerful they are, how easily they can control you. So withdrawal of their attention is a passive-aggressive method of controlling you. And this is particularly challenging if this goes on for months and years, because psychologically it feels like it's eroding your sanity. And this is an insidious way of still controlling you, even though you may not have a relationship with them. And this is also the reason why you'll never get closure, because they want you to continue suffering. And people will describe this inability to gain closure like an open energetic wound that they are continuously hemorrhaging from. If you cannot give yourself closure, the narcissist is still controlling you. So know that their invalidation, withdrawal, and silent treatment, no matter how long it lasts, is still a way that they want to control you. Other typical passive-aggressive control methods include dominating stances and body language where they stand over you, and then there's the stare. And that is a cold laser beam glare where they communicate via their intense facial expression that they are extremely displeased with you. And you'll just feel that energetic, intense wave of, oh crap, I'm going to get punished somehow. They're scheming something, just wait till we get home. And generally, they'll just target one person with this kind of behaviour, and they'll flip a switch and be amazingly loving to everybody else. And you will see this very obvious dynamic played out in families. And it's very apparent how differently the golden child is treated compared to the scapegoat. Another way of controlling you is by playing the victim. If they can tell you sob stories, failures, misfortunes, exaggerate the suffering that they experienced, and manipulate your empathy, then you can remain their saviour, rescuer forever. They've enmeshed you in their web, and this is where being discerning without empathy is so important. They want you to search for clues, do lifelong research, prove your loyalty, and extend your understanding. Basically, dedicate your entire life to proving how unique and special they are. So do you see that superiority complex in this method of controlling you? They seem to have trouble in showing their appreciation, and they're never quite satisfied with your efforts, or they will compare you to someone else. So again, they will withhold acknowledgement of all the help that you've given, and this makes you forever feel like you're just not quite good enough, or that perhaps you really are an unloving person. And yes, we all sometimes find it difficult to communicate certain things, but narcissists seem to find it impossible to genuinely acknowledge the goodness in others, or to make amends. So playing the victim is a very subtle method of control, and so is denying responsibility. So when we step in to repeatedly and continuously help them, or to take responsibility that isn't ours, that is still controlling us via guilt. So if we feel guilt or shame, or better yet, if we feel obligated, then that's great. You'll end up exhausted trying to find solutions while they sit back and pull your strings. They'll control us for as long as it takes for us to get our self-worth, self-confidence, and get our boundaries back. Mockery, public humiliation, and criticism. So they'll make hurtful and inappropriate remarks in front of others about your appearance, how silly you were, how ridiculous you looked, but they'll do it in a loving way. So after they say it, they'll end the sentence with, oh, it was only a joke. Oh, you're so sensitive. You're overreacting again. Or they'll say something like, it's for your own good. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm giving you a reality check. So they'll feel very clever in front of an audience with their brutal honesty so they appear respectable. And onlookers laugh awkwardly, so the narcissist feels a boost of power by seeing our discomfort and the audience's emotional reaction too. So even though onlookers may be shocked to hear what they've just said so callously, but the narcissist enjoys this center stage and they feel entitled to make any comment under the guise of honesty. So they thrive on tormenting, taunting, and punishing whoever is their chosen target. They gain control by getting an emotional reaction, any emotional reaction. And that's why, when things are going smoothly, they will create dramas, make up stories, or recreate history just to provoke an emotional reaction, to trigger a supply of your energy. It's like they look for your exposed emotional buttons, so to speak, and to press them, just for entertainment and to assure themselves of how easily they can control you. So our reactions validate the narcissist's power, dominance, and how important they are. A narcissist will also want to control your level of self-confidence and self-worth. So they will intentionally make you confuse assertiveness with aggression. So if you speak up on your own behalf, they will project their aggression onto you and say that you are being aggressive when really you are just trying to be assertive, getting your message across. So the relationship with a narcissist is peppered with all these power struggles, games, and control methods that may be really obvious, or they could be very obscure. Other ways of controlling your self-worth include making fun of your hobbies, your interests, your passions, and by reminding you how unqualified you are, how there's others that are better than you, and that what you're interested in over there is useless. Other methods of control, which can be both overt and covert, include fear and intimidation. You'll observe them giving you warnings, forecasts, and predicting how bad things are, how terrible they were, and how it's almost inevitable that every idea, dream, hope of yours will fail. Basically, failure is inevitable. They're addicted to bad news, and that's all they see. They're incapable of seeing any goodness, unless, of course, they're pretending to be a positive, good person. They're mistrustful of everything and everyone, so they'll infect you with this fear and control you with it. Because if you are in fear, you're more easily manipulated. You're more likely to believe their horrific predictions, and this shared paranoia bonds you. So if you can see them as your only source of wisdom, hope, and security, that gives them control of you. They'll plant seeds of doubt and watch you question your sanity, because if their doubt can influence your decisions, it proves how powerful they are in your life. They will intimidate you into making a choice that suits them. They will do whatever it takes to sabotage your success. Because again, this is evidence of their power over you. And they want you to turn only to them and see them as an authority on everything in your life. Basically, godlike. The more dependent you are on them, the more they're able to control you. So they will control all the money or how much they share with you. They'll control the car keys, what you wear, how you dress, and who you talk to. And these are all the obvious methods of control. The narcissistic rage is an expression of their complete superiority over you. It's an eruption of hatred and an exaggerated aggression, and it's completely blown out of proportion. It's like a volcano. So they want to intimidate you, frighten, threaten you, and bully you into an apprehensive submission with this rage. So just in closing, any emotional reaction surrenders control to the narcissist. These relationships can be likened to an emotional roller coaster ride. They don't want peace, tranquility, or happiness. They want control of you, your emotions, your choices, your life. And they do it in an overt, confident, entitled way, or a covert, passive, aggressive, spiteful way. Your emotions are a weakness, something to be played with. And the fact that you react demonstrates your inferiority and affirms their superiority. So be mindful of
Welcome back. You are listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. 10 signs of a narcissist. You know, those traits are really disgusting. How insecure someone must be to go through that length to do that to someone. You know, you don't want anybody else to have that person, but you continue to beat them up. You tell them you don't want them, tell them you don't love them, tell them you can't stand them. You do all kind of things that show that you are absolutely evil. You know, you hurt this person, you dog them out. You're always telling everybody about what they did wrong, but you never talk about your shortcomings. You blame the entire downfall of the relationship on that human, and then you make that human feel a certain type of way. See, I've been the victim of a narcissist. I have definitely been the victim of a narcissist. Listening to those signs right there really, 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 really irritate me. You know, I have always been fascinated with behaviors, and you know, when you are dealing with people, sometimes people don't treat you right, and then you don't know why it is. You just like, okay, they just didn't treat me right. There might be something wrong with them, but ultimately there's a disorder, you know, a narcissistic personality disorder for some people. And I have been the victim of somebody who has done all those things, you know, trying to confuse me, you know, just being evil, you know, going out and sleeping around and just really just being a nightmare. A narcissist. And it's just like, you know, you get to the point where you're like, I don't want to be with you anymore. You're nothing to me anymore. You know, you get sick and tired of being in those relationships. So I want to encourage everybody, if you are in a situation like that, to definitely find yourself, because you do not have to sit there and deal with somebody who is insecure about themselves, trying to tear you down and expect you to build everything back up. You know, watch out for the people that always want to bring somebody into your relationship and tell them about what you've done wrong. You know, especially in marriages, you know, if you have a friend that's always talking shit about their spouse, you need to drop that friend. That's a toxic friend. Okay? If you are in a situation where whenever something goes wrong, your spouse is going out and telling everybody about your downfalls, you got to deal with that and address that. See, sometimes you walk on eggshells because the person has created such a hostile environment with their rage and their insecurities that you walk on eggshells and feel like you can't say anything. Nah, bump that. Look, you don't have to let anybody talk to you crazy. You don't have to let anybody emotionally abuse you. You don't have to let anybody walk into your space and spit on you and disrespect you. You can call the police on people. Now, some people are like, well, why would you want to do that? Look, it's either your mental health, your physical health, your well-being, or them. And if somebody is always creating a terror for you, creating a hostile environment where you don't know which way is up, which way is down, you don't know, and you're always trying to do something to please them, but they're never satisfied, then, man, get out that situation. They don't mean you any good. To the sister, to the brother who suffers from being a narcissist, you need deliverance, and you do have an issue, and the fact that nobody can come to you and say anything to you says a lot. Why are you going around terrorizing somebody who you pursued, who you said you wanted to be with? Why are you terrorizing your wife? Why are you terrorizing your husband with your personality disorder? You're not the life of the party. You're not the center of attraction. You're hurt, you're wounded, you're insecure, and you are a predator until you get some help. Stealing away somebody's joy. Every time something great happens to your spouse, here you come with your funky ass attitude and your funky ass disposition and your funky ass words, and you don't have no type of encouragement for your spouse because you're jealous and you're bitter and you think you're the only one who's supposed to make it. And then you sit there and you tear down your spouse, and then lo and behold, you start to see your spouse anyway climbing to the top, being restored, being blessed right in front of you. And in the meanwhile, everything that you had, you start to lose because of your ass, because of your attitude. I gotta keep it real with y'all. This is real. Who protects the wife from the narcissistic husband that came in the form of a knight in shining armor? Who protects the husband from the bitch of all bitches and the witch of all witches who comes through like a terror, tearing down her husband and trying to rip him to shreds? Who protects him? See, the worst part about being a narcissist is you don't think you are one. But you are. You heard those signs. You know what you do. You know how you sit there and dog out your spouse, dog out the people you love with your fucked up attitude, with your narcissistic personality disorder. You thrive on it. Well, today, you're powerless. No more power for you. Luring people into relationships where they waste years of being with your foul, rotten corpse. They got to plan their escape from you. They got to save up money because you withhold money. You leave your spouse $2 or $3 and you gone for 10 hours a day and you got a wad full of money and you don't even let your spouse know that you done got paid because you're an asshole. A narcissistic one at that. You're a jerk. But you expect your spouse to be in tip-top shape with the finances and this and that, but you ain't doing anything. And not only that, you're lazy. You don't even want to set yourself free from yourself. And on top of that, you're the nicest guy. You're the nicest woman to everybody else, but you are a fucking asshole to your own spouse at the house. You go out with everybody else and don't even treat your wife, don't even treat your husband. You'll cook for all of the people at your church, but won't even give your husband a home-cooked meal. Because that ain't why you married him. You married him for the status. You married him because you're a narcissist. And all the great things that you did in the beginning, you don't do anymore. Now, see, there's a difference between somebody who was doing something for you in the beginning, but then you started treating that person who was serving you like shit. And now they don't want to do nothing for you anymore because you don't deserve it, but you feel like you do. And then you admonish them for not holding up their end of the bargain, but you're not holding up who you were. You're not even the same person. You're such an illusionist. Oh, dear narcissist. You can be delivered from it, though. You don't have to go around being a terror. You need to deal with the issues on the inside. You got mommy issues, daddy issues, childhood issues. They didn't like me issues. I didn't get picked to be first captain issues. And I'm not making a mockery, but some shit you got to let go of so you can progress. And if you are a narcissist and you are married to a narcissist, then I really am praying for you because I know that shit's hard. You don't know when he's going to pop off, when she going to pop off. You don't know when this is going to happen or that's going to happen. But all you know is that you got to sit here and have serious health issues because the person you're with wants to terrorize your life. The narcissist. They want to kill you because they can't get their way. They want to sex you down all night long, all morning long, because they want something from you. And you're gullible when you don't have enough oxygen flowing to your brain or your membrane. You're gullible. You're so desperate to keep up the airs of a healthy relationship, but you're getting your ass beat at home, and you're being emotionally abused at home, and you're being and stuff is being withheld at home from you. But you have to deal with the person that goes out, and he is a hero to everybody else on the phone. Got relationship advice up the yin yang. Got answers about everything up the yin yang. Can be the best friend and can be the best son or daughter, but a terror to you. You don't even know who this person is because they sit around and be a hero to everybody else, but you need somebody to protect you from them. And when you try to approach them, get ready for world war narcissism, because it's going to end up being your fault. You know that, right? You have nothing to do with it. It's not your fault, but they will punish you for opening your mouth. You understand what I'm saying to you? We deserve better, don't we? We as humans deserve much better. You got to unlearn loving somebody because you don't even know who this is. The first fight you had, they blew up. After that, complete crazy monster. They belittle things that mean something so precious to you. But will, in a heartbeat, come to somebody else's rescue and help, be the life of the party for somebody else, but forget about the things that mean so much to you. Will dog you out, disappear on you, give you the silent treatment, withhold from you, compare you to other people, tell other people you're crazy, build up a case for themselves so in case that they leave you, you're the crazy one. That's called triangulation. They'll gaslight. They'll start some shit. They'll start a fight. They'll start an issue because they know they're doing something else, and they want to start an argument so they can go do it and have a justification for it. Start a fight so they can leave town, or start a fight so they can go out to the club, or start a fight just to start a fight. A narcissist. Are you one? Who have you terrorized with your insecurities? Do you treat your wife like shit? Do you dog your husband out? Did you marry your husband for just to get some hard penis and some benefits? Don't even love that man. Talk shit about him as soon as you get to the beauty shop, right? You get around the rest of the women, and all y'all try to compare and say, ooh, he get on my nerves, child. Girl, I'm finna go home and I guess I'm gonna play wifey. Knowing that you sat there and begged God at the altar for 7 days and 7 nights for this man because you had to have somebody because nobody wanted you. And now here he comes and somebody actually bit your bait, and now you can't even stand the man. You can't even stand his ass. You ungrateful woman, you. I don't condone the cleanup woman at all. But she was at the beauty shop when you was talking. Ow! She was at the beauty shop when you were talking. Now you've got some pressure on you. Sleeping with the enemy. Sleeping with the enemy. Don't even know who this person is anymore. Got to sleep with one eye open because you don't know if they're going to be standing over you with a hacksaw. Don't even want to eat breakfast because you don't know what's in the grits. Ain't trying to get none of their smoothie because you don't know if there's some antifreeze in there. Sleeping with the enemy. Sleeping with the enemy, the enemy who is sleeping with other people, but tells you that they're faithful. And they've never slept with anybody else, knowing that they are a hoe throughout the streets, and you the last one to know that your man is a hoe, and everybody knows that your man is a hoe, and everybody's talking about your man being a hoe, because like Cash Doll said, he for everybody, sis, and now you the last one to know. Sleeping with the enemy. You know, that's that punk shit. You know? Everybody, you know, you out here, oh, I'll be back in a, you know, I'm getting ready to go, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to be working all day long. And next thing you know, you going over to this sister's house, and you sleeping with the sisters because your wife ain't treating you right at home, and she just don't do nothing for me, and I'm just so sad. And here come this woman believing all of your lies when you really the aggressor and the agitator and the jerk. And then now you're sleeping with this woman, and then you come back home and got the nerve to command sex and demand sex from your spouse with your dirty penis. With your nasty community service penis. Sleeping with the enemy. Oh, sis, you ain't off the hook. Your girlfriend's trip to Hawaii. Oh, your girlfriend's trip to Jamaica. Your girlfriend is also your lover. And your husband doesn't know. Oh, you and your husband gonna go to the casino, and you gonna invite your girlfriend up for a weekend stay, and you know you just don't want to be by yourself, and next thing you know, he's the last one to know that your girlfriend that just came up is really your lover on the side. You old scandalous heifer, you. I know some of y'all don't like this talk, but some of you do, because you know it's real talk. I don't need any music to background this. You got to keep it 100 with you. Some of y'all are betraying your spouses right now. Sleeping with the enemy. Sleeping with the enemy. You know in your mind what you think, but they have no idea, because you have created such a conversation and such an environment that they think it's one way, but it's really the other. Oh, that email, that didn't mean anything. You can't even answer questions. And you get irritated when you get asked questions because you know you ain't shit. You know, men and women don't like to ever be interrogated. They always say, what's with all the questions? I don't know. Look, only a criminal feels uncomfortable with the line of questioning. If you're not guilty, what's the problem? And if you're not guilty, why wouldn't you soothe your spouse? Sleeping with the enemy. Some of you even gloat in how nasty you've been to your spouse. You know, you actually rub it in their face that you are proud of how you dogged them out. Sleeping with the enemy. Some of you have literally watched your homeboys and your homegirls go through a divorce from behind being a hoe. You've watched it. You've watched your boy, you've watched your girl get out of these streets, think they was the ish, sleep around, got a spouse at home, waiting for them, faithful to them, telling everybody, oh, she'll never leave. He'll never leave. He sprung on the kids. He sprung on a PUSSY. You know he don't believe in divorce. All these things, and you thinking you the ish while you gallivanting throughout all these zip codes while your spouse is at home waiting on you. Trying to trust and to believe that your mama ain't raised no hoe. Trying to trust and believe and be secure because you always call them out on their insecurities, but you really the one who left the door open for the insecurities. I'm so tired of people saying, oh, you just insecure. Well, why do you create an environment for me to have to check the security? Okay? See, people who have had their houses invaded through a home invasion, are they insecure? Hell yeah. But does that make them weak? No. It makes them aware. It makes them never ever want to have to experience being violated and their security being compromised. I don't like my security to be compromised, brother. I don't like my security to be compromised, sister. That's why I'm asking you. Because you leave breadcrumbs that make me feel a certain type of way. Sleeping with the enemy. Your spouse is the last one to know that you out there giving it all away. Then you come home and bring them some old nasty bacteria because you're a hoe. You're the enemy. But you'll be pissed off if your wife or your husband went out and did it to you. And you deserve it, though. Doesn't make it right, but you deserve it. It doesn't make it right. I don't condone adultery. I condone getting yourself together so you can enjoy your best life, with or without. You dig? Sleeping with the enemy. Here you are telling your deepest, darkest, most personal secrets and confessions to somebody who you feel like you can trust, and they throw that in your face. Sleeping with the enemy. Oh, or they tell other people about your misgivings. They never talk about what they do, but they are quick to throw what you have done in your face. They use it against you. Sleeping with the enemy. You're a narcissist. If you have done these things, you are a narcissist and you need to be delivered from it. Sleeping with the enemy. Finding out that your spouse really is not heterosexual, but they really like to deal with the same gender. Finding out that your spouse is into pornography heavy. Finding pictures of your spouse's breast and penis and vagina. And then you got to sit here and wonder what the fuck is really going on. Excuse my language, I had to say that. What the fuck is going on though, right? Sleeping with the enemy. Not knowing that the enemy is plotting your death. Sleeping with the enemy, not knowing that the enemy just took out $1 million life insurance policy on you. Oh, actually, this is the third one. Sleeping with the enemy. Slowly poisoning your food. Sleeping with the enemy. Going all around town, talking mess about you and telling everybody about your sin and how you've made mistakes and then got the nerve to come home and look you in the face and expect you to be A1 with them. Sleeping with the enemy. Never supporting you. Never applauding you or bigging up your dreams and your goals and your aspirations and your accomplishments. Never hugging you, kissing you, loving you. Giving you half penis, half vagina. Can't even stroke you right no more, but expects you to be a porn star. And they wonder why you don't have a glow for them anymore. Why you don't talk about them in a good way anymore. Because you broke the person who loves you. You broke their heart. You hurt them. You made them have to unlearn you. You made them detest you, despise you, disdain you, resent you, hate you. They got the foot everything. When's the last time you took your spouse out on a date? You take everybody else out. You go on all these lunch meetings and these lunch dates. When is the last time you thought about your spouse? When's the last time you slept with the enemy? Are you the enemy? Have you been in terror this entire time because you are hurting, because you're wounded, because your ex-spouse dogged you out, and now you haven't healed, and the next person to get it is the next person who marries you? Oh, somebody's gonna get it. Do you get your spouse back? Do you hold grudges? What type of terror have you been? What type of spouse? What type of friend? What type of human have you been? Do you know how many people have to suffer behind your narcissism? Do you know how many people have to suffer from sleeping with the enemy? The fact that somebody has to plot their escape from you says a lot. They've had it. Some people don't get to escape sleeping with the enemy. Sometimes you can escape and the enemy can find you and they kill you. Sometimes you can escape and you can go to domestic violence shelter and get weak and want to return. Sleeping with the enemy. When you're married and this is your second or third marriage, but you still got your foot in your first marriage, sleeping with the enemy. When you put your first marriage before your second marriage or your third marriage, when you cater more to your first situation than your others, sleeping with the enemy. When you violate the laws and the vows, sleeping with the enemy. When you tell somebody that you love them and you really don't. When you tell somebody that you hate them over and over again, they're going to start to believe you. When you tell somebody that you don't love them over and over again, they're going to start to believe you. When you tell somebody that you cannot stand them over and over again, they're going to believe you. When you tell somebody that you wish that you had never married them before, that you had never married them, that they're going to start to believe you. When you tell somebody that they should go and be with somebody else, they just might. When you withhold love and affection from somebody, you don't understand what you do to people, how you ruin lives and terrorize people, and then got all these rules about how you are to be treated with such respect. When you're so disrespectful to yourself first, you've got to do it to yourself first, brother. You've got to do it to yourself, sister. You've got to play yourself first. Sleeping with the enemy, telling a man that these are his children and they're not. Sleeping with the enemy, having a man believe that the babies that he's raising are his and they're not. Sleeping with the enemy, having a man on child support for children that aren't his. Sleeping with the enemy, forging a DNA test to say that a man is the child's father when he's not. Sleeping with the enemy. Sleeping with the enemy. Not telling your wife that you've got a child on the way by somebody else. Knowing that y'all been trying so hard for so long. Sleeping with the enemy. You know, sometimes some people don't wake up when they go to sleep. Do you think that you can go on for the rest of your life terrorizing somebody? Do you think that you can go on for the rest of your life being a monster? You don't think that you're going to reap what you sow? Not you. Not you. Oh, you've got it all together. Some of you right now are in a famine in your life behind being an enemy. Some of you right now are experiencing loss after loss and can't even get ahead because of your own mouth, because you're a narcissist. Do you abuse your spouse? Have you ever hurt your spouse? Do you know how to even apologize? That's one of the worst things about a narcissist. They will beat you to a pulp and won't apologize. A narcissist will see you fall on the floor and stand over you with disgust at the fact that you can't keep your balance. Oh, but let a stranger hit the floor. They're 911 emergency. Yeah, I'm calling it out today. Tyshee. She encompassed everything that we covered this evening on the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. The signs of a narcissist: sleeping with an enemy, sleeping with the enemy. You know, sometimes it can be too late. Don't let it be too late. Examine the person that you're with. If somebody is beating you, leave. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist or you are a narcissist, prayer changes things. Are you aware that to get out in 2032 is a long time? Is murder worth it? Is what you want worth you tearing down somebody else? The time has been well spent on the Sister Speak Show. You have been listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show, where contemporary meets vision, sound, and action. A talk show for great minds that create, inspire, and evolve. Oh, to be or not to be is the question. So remember this when you're listening to the Suspense Files on the Sister Speak Show. Get ready, because you never know when the topic is knocking at your door. Watch out there now, because you could run into somebody that says, what's yours is all of mine. Until we meet again, you be encouraged. And I'm signing off. Take care now.